What is up, my friends? You're very welcome along to this FSG special video here on Anfield Agenda. My aim tonight was to get your attention with that title, and I hope I've done just that, because I want to talk about a topic that has been dividing our fan base a lot in recent times, and where we are right now with the way the team are performing on the pitch, with Jurgen Klopp looking like he's struggling to find a formation and a system that can get the best out of the players we have. I thought I'd try and reunite a few people and try and give some understanding to both sides of the FSG debate. If you wanted to put me in a box, and I don't like people being put into boxes, you're either one thing or another, because most of these situations, and certainly with the owners, it's a nuanced situation. There's some good stuff they've done, and there's a lot of bad stuff they've done. For some people, the good stuff outweighs the negative stuff, and vice versa. For me, the Super League was the line in the sand for me that I wasn't willing to cross. That was selling out the history of our football club, selling out the culture of our sport and the way that we consume football and the sporting merit of it. I didn't like it, and I didn't believe the apology. That was me. But can I sit here and say that the next owners are 100% going to be better than FSG? That they're going to listen to fans? That they're not going to start milking money out of the football club? No, I can't. But I can say that I want better from the owners that we have at the football club. I can question where the money is. I can question why we've had net spends of around 30 million max in so many transfer windows when teams around us are spending a lot more money. And we're supposed to be one of the highest grossing football clubs in world football. We keep getting told about how great the commercial partnerships are that FSG have put in place. We keep hearing about the television money, the Champions League money, and all of this stuff. Today, I read an article about LeBron James and what he's going to bring to Liverpool and that hookup with Nike. But ultimately, that stuff is all brilliant. That stuff is great. But it's not giving Jurgen Klopp the tools that he needs to go out and compete in a transfer market that, look, let's be honest, prices of players have gone up. That is how it is. FSG came into the football club and they bought the club on the understanding that FFP was going to be enforced. And I understand it. But they've had plenty of time to weigh up that situation, and we all know that FFP is never really going to be enforced in its current guise because it just isn't enforceable with the way clubs are able to. Well, they're powerful entities these days, aren't they? If they can't get a better legal team, then they might start putting some political pressure on. You know all the stories. You don't need me to tell you. So if FSG feel like that the landscape has changed, that's sound. But you can't then just hang on to the club. Well, I suppose you can. You shouldn't then just hang on to the club and let it dwindle away. You either have to readjust and go, okay, well, we're going to have to go and compete here, which in this case will probably mean taking on some debt to the football club or loosening up some purse strings for Jurgen Klopp to go and strengthen his squad. But the really annoying thing about this for me is it's that people look down on other fans. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen with the FSG out brigade, because heaven knows FSG out have had their fair share of highlighted faux pas and people that have gone a little bit too far. But ultimately, I think they have a valid point. So what I would like to say is, for those people who are FSG supporters, stop trying to be condescending to other people. Stop trying to tell people that they don't understand what it is to be a Liverpool fan. They don't know what "you'll never walk alone" means. They don't go to games. Whatever it is that you want to use to berate them and try and make yourself feel better and above others, it's not going to help. It's only going to worsen the divide. If we're to actually come to an understanding and try and come together over the owners of the football club, we're going to have dialogue about it. So for me, let's look at some of the good things that they've done. Of course, they've done the Annie Road end. Of course, they've done the main stand. Kirby is absolutely magnificent, and that was Jurgen Klopp's vision, and they followed through with that as well. They've done the club store outside Anfield. They've spruced up the area around it, and they've been at the head of the football club, and they've appointed Jurgen Klopp, and we've won trophies. All of that stuff is absolutely brilliant. That is what they said they wanted to do when they came in. But right now, we are seeing excuses in almost every window. I'm fully aware that Darwin Núñez was brought in and that Darwin Núñez price could eventually reach £85 million. So I'm aware that that is a huge sum of money. But we've also sold some players, freed up some wages. So I've no doubt that that money will absolutely be covered. But it's inexcusable for our owners to sit on their hands while everybody and their dog knew that Jurgen Klopp needed one, if not two midfielders. It's inexcusable to keep briefing journalists that there will be money to spend in future windows, that we are just cutting our cloth accordingly, that we have to sit tight, we're waiting for generational talents. All of these excuses, and that is what they are. They have a very slick PR machine that comes into play in and around every transfer window. And even today, I've already seen the stories telling us that Liverpool want to go and get a midfielder in the winter and another midfielder in the summer. But we've heard all this before. We want action. We want Jurgen Klopp's tenure at this football club to be as successful as it can. And I think I speak for everybody in that regard. Whether you're FSG in or you're FSG out, you're a Liverpool supporter and you want Jurgen Klopp to do well. So if you're still with me on this, if you can keep with me to that point, I hope that you'll understand that that is all that FSG out fans want. We just want Jurgen Klopp to be given the same level of backing that other clubs in and around our status are giving their managers. Football finances are a very complicated thing, and I certainly won't sit here and claim to be an expert on them in any way, shape or form. But when Aston Villa, when Spurs, when other clubs that haven't had the same European pedigree that we've had, haven't had the same European income as we've had in the past 5 years, and yes, Spurs have been fairly regular in the Champions League, but Villa outspent us. It is not a great look. So if FSG feel that they can't take the club on, then they do need to look to either bring in another minority partner or they need to change the way that they want to support Klopp, because they have to. We cannot sit here and look back in Jurgen Klopp's tenure and think what ifs. This is it. This is the time right now. This transfer window and the summer transfer window, I would say, are probably the biggest since the windows we brought in Alisson Becker and Virgil van Dijk, because we knew we needed a goalkeeper and a centre-back, and to their credit, they were gotten. Yes, they were gotten with a lot of the Felipe Coutinho money, but ultimately, we sold a player and we strengthened the team massively in two areas that we needed to do. Right now, there is no excuse other than to go out and get Jude Bellingham. That is it. There shouldn't be a plan B. We shouldn't even be considering a plan B. We should be absolutely adamant that Jude is the one that we want. You know that he is. I know that he is. The journalists know that he is. Bellingham knows that he is. Klopp knows that he is. Everybody and their dog knows that Jurgen Klopp wants Jude Bellingham. So go and get him. I don't want to hear more friendly journalists briefed about Liverpool are being put off by the price tag or Liverpool are losing ground in the race to get him. He is the one that will transform their midfield, because I don't think we're that far away. Couple of midfielders, maybe another wide forward or so in the summer window, and let's see what happens with those players that are at the club, who gets renewed and maybe who gets moved on. But for me, I just don't like to see the divide in our fan base, because it doesn't help anybody. Social media can be a very tricky place, and I do my best these days to stay off the likes of Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that, because I don't see any good coming of it. Every time I go on there, it seems to be just fans shouting and screaming at each other. It used to be over the ticket allocations. Obviously, when a club starts to become more successful, tickets come more in demand, prices go up, some locals feel like they're being pushed out, and I can only give you the viewpoint from me as an overseas fan or somebody who doesn't live in the UK. We also feel like we're being fleeced if we want to go to a game. Some of the games that I've looked at prices for, I could have gone, or my family could have gone to Spain for a week for the price of going over to a game. And sometimes it isn't even about the money. It's about the principle of the thing. Yes, you don't have any divine right to attend every game, but why should somebody have to pay 3, 4, 5, 600 quid to go and watch a game of football? That has been done purposely because FSG, and Ian has spoken about it before, want to keep that sweet spot, want to keep that demand there, so absolutely every time that they put on a game, it'll be a sellout. Understandable to an extent, but what has it done? It has once again turned fans against each other in that competition for tickets. And again, with the transfer market right now, you've got the FSG in, the FSG out brigade, basically having pops at each other on social media. Now, you can say what you like about FSG out. They've certainly been covered right across the media for many, many years now. But it's this FSG in, or FSG supporters crowd, that have really started to wind me up recently. They think that they're better than other people. They think that everybody else are idiots, and they think that we should be grateful for what we have. No, we shouldn't. Like any business, like any sport, like any team, you should always look to evolve, you should always look to improve, and you should always look to build from a position of strength. FSG have not done that. Look at the window after we won the league. Appalling. We need to go out and build a second team for Klopp, because the first team have been absolutely amazing. They've given us some nights that we'll never forget, seasons we'll never forget, but ultimately it looks like a lot of them have done as much as they can at the club and are winding down, and Jurgen Klopp needs to go out there and address that issue. So all I'm going to ask people to do is stop having a go at each other. If we want to solve this issue, we need dialogue. We need dialogue between those who are FSG in and those who are FSG out, because ultimately the truth and the understanding of all of this probably lies in the middle. We have enough people right now having a pop at Liverpool fans. I mean, I only made a video the other day to say I've been shocked at quite how much I realised since I started making content, how much people don't like Liverpool fans. Genuinely, I must have been naive about this, but I thought we were a friendly fan base, that opposition fans, yeah, maybe they thought we were a little bit glued at the times, but ultimately I think they always looked at us that we were a knowledgeable, decent group of people. Apparently that isn't the case, and I want to do my best to try and change that as well. So look, I'm not here to judge anybody, to talk down to anybody. All I'm asking people to do is understand that this is an emotional topic, that people are very passionate about their football club, and that if we do want to resolve these issues, we're not going to do it by shouting and screaming at each other. We need dialogue. So look, I'm looking forward to reading your thoughts in the comment section. Do drop a like in the video, and I appreciate you giving up, 11 or so minutes of your evening to watch this. Thank you very much for your time, and I will talk to you soon. Much love. Bye-bye.